Today we are back to showcase more of myself and you guys F1 gaming community's ideas that we want to see included in the Reimagined F1 game coming in 2027. Now before we begin, make sure to subscribe to see more F1 content like you're watching. Now let's get started. We begin here with an idea brought in from you guys, which is for brakes to catch fire or even failing if you don't look after them. In the modern F1 games you can push your brakes as much as you want and you won't really get punished for it. Of course the normal punishment for braking too hard would be locking up, which can lead to you running offline to even crashing. But what if another factor played a part in this, which would be having to manage your brakes a lot more, otherwise you could end up losing them and it would force the player to manage even more than just battery deployment and tyre wear. This new addition could completely change the outcome of the race, maybe even forcing you to give up a win or even a podium in order to finish in one piece without losing your brakes and ending up with nothing. And even I will admit myself, I've got a very aggressive driving style and I tend to use my brakes a little bit more than I should. With this being added however, I may be forced to adapt to a different driving style and even look after my brakes a little bit more, which may force me to hold back a little bit on overtaking possibilities. And wouldn't it be cool to see sudden failures happen if you don't look after your brakes, completely losing them out of nowhere after overheating them and you proceed to have a very scary crash, or another one being they start to smoke or catch fire, which could be classed as an early warning sign before they completely fail, forcing you to cool them down immediately or quickly find a safe place to park the car and retire before you end up with no brakes. Take a look at this example of what this situation could look like in the game.
Okay, so I'm going to need you to start being more gentle on your brakes. They seem to be overheating more than we'd like. Okay, mate, brake temperatures are getting critical now. We seriously need to start cooling them down if possible. Otherwise, we will need to retire the car. Okay, mate, brakes are hanging on by a thread here. Either we cool them down now or risk losing them completely. Okay, mate, brakes are in a very dangerous zone here, and we can no longer continue at this rate. I'm going to need you to retire the car and safely park it at the side of the track. Or if you can, bring it back to the pits, please.
What about more varied, more frequent and longer lasting mechanical failures, from radio cutouts to HUDs disappearing and even loss of tyre wear data? This could be a real game changer for the way you go forward in your race if you encounter any of these problems. Here is an example of this.
Right. So mate, I don't know if you can hear me, but we're dealing with a software issue in the garage, and we've lost all tyre wear data. We are trying to find a fix, but for now you won't be able to access any sort of tyre data. Keep doing what you're doing for now, and we will update you as soon as we can. Okay mate, we are still trying to find a fix for the loss of tyre data. Keep to the current plan for now. We've tried to resolve this software issue and unfortunately we can't find a fix for it, so you are going to have to manage the remainder of this race without tyre data. Our best option is to stick with the current strategy and do the best you can to look after your tyres. You should feel the difference yourself with how worn the tyres are, or if they are starting to overheat. I know this isn't going to be easy, but it's our only option. Do your absolute best, mate. We seem to be dealing with a radio issue, mate. If you can hear me, keep the current plan. You're doing a great job. Okay, mate, if you can hear me, we've lost all communication. We won't be able to hear or see your response. I know how difficult it must be. Keep a close eye on flags in case of an incident ahead or a safety car. Since we won't be able to see your responses, I want you to stick to the current strategy.
For sure a must for the next F1 game, and I speak on behalf of the entire F1 gaming community when I say we need more customization, and that especially includes helmets. Games like MotoGP even allows you to design from scratch and add decals, which in reality is something that F1 games already have, but you can only do this however for car liveries. So I really don't see the issue here because it's not really copyrighted decals, because it is in-game decals that they're adding to the game. It's not like the Ferrari logo, it's not like other little bits and pieces, so I don't really see the harm in like adding them to helmets and suits, so it's not really copyrighted, so what's stopping them, you know? The best option we have to get an insanely realistic looking career helmet these days is to either design it on a PC and mod it into the game, or just find a good career helmet mod on overtake.gg and download it from there. But only PC players benefit from this, and that's why we should have unlimited amount of customization for designing your own helmet. It's so desperately needed, and everyone, no matter what you're playing on, should be able to have the chance to do this for themselves. It's an amazing experience to have your own helmet in game, especially if you're a racer out there. You can even design and try and replicate what your real life helmet is, and adding that into the F1 game makes it feel even more special. And one more thing as well, don't let us just draw and paint the helmet, let us select what we want to have as a finish. If you want a matte finish for your helmet, you can. If you want a gloss finish, you can. Surely all these possibilities in F1 27 should be there. It is a reimagined game, and if they're going to have it completely new from what we've had previously, surely having this is a start. While we're on that note of customization, do you know what would be a very good shout? What about a community curations tab? This could be for car liveries, helmets, suits, gloves, emblems, etc. And this gives the community the chance to share their curations and even allows others to download for themselves, ranging between all platforms of course. Now I know this has got nothing to do with F1 this next clip, but let's take a look at WWE 2K26 for example, a game I play a lot with the lads when I'm not making videos. They have a community creations tab for all the basic stuff players want to use in game and even a few extras. If you're a WWE fan here, you will know that all superstars may not be featured in game. This could be due to them being signed to another company or for some other reason. But you won't need to worry about this because the community has you covered and you can go download a custom superstar for yourself and it still feels like an official character in game. So surely having a community curations tab here would be the right way forward. You know, we can share our ideas and the F1 gaming community can come together a little bit more than they have previous years. We can't really interact too much with each other apart from maybe even raging online. Letting our feelings very clear on how we feel about how the others drive, but you know that's normal for any F1 game anyway. But you know, just to calm us down a little bit and just share our creativity and show what we can do in the F1 games. When starting a career mode, your team choice will tend to decide where you'll be fighting very early on in your career. If it's my team, you will most likely start at the back. If it's driver career and you choose Aston Martin or Cadillac, you'll also start at the back. Choose Alpine and you'll be in the midfield, or if you pick Mercedes, you're straight to the front. But what if before you proceed into your career, you had the option to adjust each team's performances, making it a very different look in order to what the game's default is actually giving you. With this option, it allows you to start with all teams potentially on the same performance, making it a very exciting development race as the season unfolds, with more unpredictability along the way. Now I will say this does sound a little bit too good to be true, but imagine having even this possibility in the first place. You know, rather than the basic start to career mode you would get in every installment, which in reality we sort of know where we're going to end up if we do have a driver career and pick a certain team. It's the same type of thing we get every year, but imagine having that little bit extra feature that can completely swing around a career mode. So let's take a look at this example I've made for you guys on what this could look like if it was added to the F1 game before you proceed into your career mode.
New for career mode. You can now decide if you want to adjust the performance of each team before you begin your career. If you are happy with the in-game default settings, you can proceed. However, if you feel you want to mix things up or even have all teams start with the same level of performance, you can do just that. Once you are done, select Advance, and you can begin your Formula 1 career.
There were many reactions to the news that we wouldn't be getting an F1 game in 2026, and the 26 season would be taking place in the F1 25 game. With this, it meant that we would be able to play with both the 25 and 26 seasons in the same game, giving us the option to switch between the old regulations and new. And to me, I think this was quite cool, and gives the players a great option if they don't want to play with the newer stuff. So as a bonus for each year's installments, why not include the previous season as well? 2027 could be the base featuring all the updated cars and drivers, but also include the previous season's content as well as a bonus feature, or if they're really wanting to, have it as a free content update later down the line, and you know, maybe even a DLC. But it's not something I would say the fans desperately want, but it's a nice little addition for folks that like nostalgia, and it also means the players won't need to go back onto the previous game to access those cars. When you have the new game, you can play both the previous and new seasons, and it's a win-win situation. So there you are guys, there are some more of your great ideas that you want to see in the F1 27 game, and like I say with all these videos, not all these ideas will probably be added, but the best thing we can do is try, and I do send these all out to EA as well. The videos that you're seeing today and in the series, I have sent them out to EA, and I'm trying to suggest as many ideas as possible in the time frame we've got before the 27 game will be finalised. So I will be continuing this series for a little while yet, just before we get to the end of the year. So if you want to add any more ideas to this series, make sure to comment below any great ideas that you may have, and I will consider them and potentially feature them in the next video. Until then though guys, I really appreciate you watching this video. Subscribe to the channel to see more F1 game content like you've just watched, because we've got a lot more of it coming very soon, so you don't want to miss it. Take care now, and I'll see you all very soon.